Hi everyone. Okay, so for this week, it's crazy to think that we're actually going over week 4 and week 5 assignments. You've all been doing a fantastic job as far as getting your assignments in and making sure that you are citing the text within your discussion posts, as well as using all of your insight within the articles that you're completing and the assignments that you've been finishing. For discussion number 4, if we look at that, what advice would you give teachers who have an effective management plan but have students who are not responding to the plan and engaging in confrontational behavior with them? I think some of you bring up a really good point in the fact that if you have an effective management plan, why are students not responding? And as a teacher, you might have a plan that works for years and years and years, but it's always important to keep that understanding that not everything's going to work for every student, and that sometimes accommodations and need to be made to meet the needs of our students, and to sometimes meet them where they are in order for everyone to move forward. So with discussion 4, you need to make sure that you do your discussion post, and then on top of that, you will also be doing your 2 responses to someone else's discussion. I will be scoring these once I see that you've done your post and that you've responded to 2 others of our colleagues in the classroom. You've been doing a great job at keeping the discussion board live and making sure that it's a great way to participate throughout the class. If we go back to our assignments for this week, that was the week 4 discussion. The next thing that we're going to be looking at is our week 4 assignment. So let me review that with you. Motivation in learning and teaching. This is a 15-point assignment. Virtually all students are motivated in one way or another. One student may be keenly interested in classroom subject matter and seek out challenging coursework. Participate, yet another, perhaps because of an undetected learning disability, a shy temperament, a seemingly uncoordinated body, may be motivated to avoid academics, social situations, or athletic activities. Thus, all students learn differently and are motivated by different methods or triggers. Think about how this applies in your everyday life. Think about what information you can take from the text, to take that from the theory of the text to actual practical examples that you see in your classrooms, that you see in your everyday life. You are going to complete this assignment since it is 15 points. Remember, you should have your cover page APA formatted. You should have your introduction. You then have your 6 key talking points. Look at each of these points as an individual paragraph where you'll be giving answers to the questions. You aren't going to be writing the question and then writing the answer. It should be in paragraph paper format. So you're going to restate the question within the paragraph and rephrase it in your own words to show that you're addressing the question. And then finally, make sure that you bring it to a closing, where you bring everything to a closure, identifying the main points of why you wrote the paper. And then if you look at the rubric down below, these are the areas that you're going to be getting scored. Do you understand the topic? Did you include data, which would be your citations? Answer all questions thoroughly. Organize in a logical, coherent fashion, and they give you the format already by giving you the 6 questions. And then demonstrate command of standard English grammar and syntax with your citations as well. So don't forget, at the end of the paper, you're going to be given a works cited page where you will list your citations that you used within the paper that you wrote. Please make sure all assignments are turned in by Sunday. I know that this assignment says it's due tomorrow by midnight. However, I've given you guys the option previously that you can turn these assignments in by Sunday. So if you would like to take advantage of that, that is perfectly fine. One thing I do want to remind you of before we move to our week 5 assignment is that under announcements, I did post the mid-course review. So if you did not have a chance to complete the mid-course review as far as how you thought things were going or where things could be changed, please make sure you're doing that. In discussion number 5, encouraging creativity. One of the issues that I think is very easy to fall into is the fact that many times we take advantage of the fact that we're teaching the same standards, we're teaching the same concepts year after year. And sometimes it's very easy as educators to get into routine activities. Even as administrators, you're looking for the same thing. You're making sure that the building's running. But for me, one of the questions I always ask myself is, what am I doing to push it to the next level? And just like I expect that from myself, I expect that from the staff that I work with, and trying to encourage them through example of how I do that. So just like this is a very vague topic, what you need to do is look at the text that is assigned for this week, for week 5, and ask yourself, how does this apply with encouraging creativity? How can I take what's written in the text and pull that into examples that I can then provide to take it from a theoretical perspective to a practical perspective and the application process of applying that skill throughout your everyday work experience, whether it be you encouraging students' creativity as a teacher to student, or thinking forward, many of you do want to be school administrators, thinking, how will I as a school administrator encourage creativity among my staff, and what will I do when that opportunity presents itself? That discussion post is worth 5 points. As I said, try to get your initial discussion post up as quickly as possible in the beginning of the week, so that way when people go on, they actually have others that they can respond to and have their final grade completed for that week. Because as I said, I will not be giving grades until I see that you completed the discussion post and then you responded to others. And then finally, the last one is standardized testing. So if we look at standardized testing here, standardized testing involves using testing instruments that are administered and scored in a pre-established standard or consistent manner. There are 2 types of standardized testing instruments: norm reference tests and criterion reference tests. The former testing instruments yield scores that compare the examinee's scores to that of a representative sample, the normative group, or of same age or grade peers. The latter type of testing instrument involves comparing an examinee's score to a predetermined criterion, such as a school curriculum. So what you're going to do is, once again, this is a 15-point assignment, and what you will do is you will do an introduction, a cover page to the assignment, an introduction. Then you have your 6 paragraphs here outlined for you, and then you're going to do a closing to wrap it all up. Please make sure that you answer all the questions thoroughly. Once again, you are not going to write the question and then your answer, but what you'll do is you'll take the question, restate it within the paragraph, and then make sure that you are answering it completely. Within each paragraph, you're going to try to pull citations from the book. As you do this and as you're looking at it, for example, question 1, how do you calculate mean, median, mode, and standard deviation? What are percentile ranks, standard deviations? You're going to talk about the application. So it's asking simple questions, but it wants to know then, how would this be applied and how would it affect students? So for example, when you look at mean, median, mode, and standard deviation, when you look at figuring out an answer based on those 3 areas, how would different students benefit and how would it hurt different students by figuring scores out that way? How can you improve reliability and validity in testing? What do results of achievement, aptitude, and diagnostic tests tell teachers? How would you prepare students and yourself for taking standardized tests? And what are strengths and weaknesses of alternative forms of assessment, such as portfolios? So really, this is asking for a lot of your opinion, but you want to make sure that you're also citing the text as you do that. Once you do your conclusion paragraph, you will then complete a works cited page. So once again, this is worth 15 points. Make sure that you follow the rubric. And as always, if you have any questions regarding assignments for week 4 or week 5, please make sure that you let me know. Have a great week, everyone.